Hello and welcome back to Reality Benjamin's Big Brother podcast. We are back for our third installment podcast episode, whatever you want to call it. Today, especially, I would like to apologize for how terrible, honestly terrible, this Wi-Fi connection feedback lag is going to be. We are in Fort Smith, Arkansas, dropping off Logan and my youngest brother at camp, and we are on hotel Wi-Fi, so also might get some background noise. Anyway, dealing with that. Hi guys. All right, Logan, are we ready to start? You got anything to say?
No, just getting into it.
Did you get around to making your Instagram, or should I give them your personal again?
Give them my personal, but I'm just saying it might be like a week and a half because my camp lasts a week, so it might.
All right, you can go ahead and shut it out.
But I'll do it eventually.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and give them that then.
Okay, go follow me on Instagram at logan.lim.
And nice, as you can see on my overlay, at reality.benjamin on Instagram. Hi, hello, Father. So, all right, if we're going to pick up where we left off last episode, that would be, I guess, nominations and curses, reviewing that. Obviously, Paul won HOH. We saw Alex and Josh get put up. In terms of temptation, Christmas was voted to receive the ring of replacement to play any
Ramsey's, Jessica, and Cody.
Turns out Ramsey's was actually not cursed. Christmas picked Ramsey's, but because we don't know yet, it's either you can't be cursed 2 weeks in a row, or once you've been cursed.
He was already.
Well, he was already, remember, with the nomination
thing? Yeah, he was already cursed. So.
Yes, so Jason was picked as the replacement. He was also a have-not. I'm not sure whether that was included in the curse or that was separate. We still don't know what the curse is definitively. That should be fun to find out, though. Do you have any predictions?
The only thing I could really think of... with the ring of replacement, is it any player that you can...
No, it's only the 3 selected by random draw or house guest choice. The HOH and nominees are off the table, which I saw some discussion of Christmas using this. If Paul nominated Cody, Christmas using this to not let him play, but that's actually against the rules.
Well, what the heck? Oh my god, shut up, guys.
Okay,
well, I was thinking it might be those were the only 3 people you could use the ring of replacement.
Yes, and this week, I guess I'm going to jump ahead a little here, but we saw Ramses has now put himself on the block. Paul has assured him safety. That was not shocking, but Paul doesn't seem to legitimately want to honor that safety. It seems like there's a chance that if things go wrong with Cody, that Ramses could end up being the target.
How could it go wrong with Cody, though?
Well, I'll get to that in a second. It really can't at this point. Moving on. Well, I guess we should jump ahead. This is kind of an irrelevant detail, but Jason went ahead and took the have-not temptation. He got the extension, so he'll have it for another week. We saw Paul, first episode. Was it first episode?
Yeah.
Paul, episode 1, took the have-not temptation and got the have-not cancellation, whatever they called it. Got a bit lucky with production there. Logan, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. Production.
So there is something, before we get to veto players that were picked, I also want to cover something that came out, I think, before we did last podcast, but we didn't talk about it all. That's the potential battle back this season So CBS,
Yeah.
2 weeks from yesterday exactly, scheduled a special Friday episode, which I think was 2 hours. I'm not sure about that. It's not confirmed to be Battle Back, but that's the exact format that they did it in last year, and you can't see really anything else coming from that. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, that's most likely it. I can't think of anything else really that it could be.
Yeah, I mean, unless they did something special with one of the Temptations, that seems like the only option really, and that would be very fun to watch. Hopefully we get to see Cameron another time getting a second chance, and people have said Cameron is in sequester. No one knows that for sure, but
that he isn't or he is.
He hasn't been posting on any social media.
Okay.
Obviously, Megan not included in that. She left the game under certain circumstances where I don't think she's interested in coming back, and it's her and production agreed, of course, so it's not really a good idea for her to come back at all. But looking at potential Battle Back candidates, then we'd have Cameron, Jillian evicted here,
and then the 2 others.
I guess, yeah. A Friday episode would mean right after the live eviction. So that would mean the final Battle Back might actually be live Friday, because that after that Thursday live eviction, we would have 4 players eliminated. They could play all the other ones pre-filmed, but either they'd have to do it that morning and edit and upload, or they might do the final one live.
Okay. Well, I just realized something, actually.
Yeah.
I do like Cameron, but as much as I don't like Cody, it's looking like Cody's going to go out this week, obviously.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking like. So I don't know I don't feel like Cameron would be able to beat Cody in a Battle Back, though.
Depends on the comps they're going to go with. And obviously, Cody goes out this week. Depending on who HOH is, we could see a wide variety of players going after him. And then that would make the 4. So even if, assuming Cameron beats Jillian and Cameron gets to play Cody, assuming that Cody goes out, we could see Cody or Cameron, the winner of that, theoretically going against a wide variety of people after that, depending on who gets HOH next week.
No,
Logan.
Are you serious?
Logan.
No, you're not.
Logan. I'm going to keep it to myself now. Anyway, moving on to veto players, obviously Paul. Who else?
Sorry, I'm in the bathroom.
It was Paul. So Paul, Alex, and Josh, and Ramses, of course, since he used his curse, were all getting to play in veto. I'm not sure who selected. I assume it would be Paul and Ramses, but there were 2 players selected by random draw or house guest choice, and we ended up seeing Matt and Elena also playing in veto, which is interesting now because it looks like Cody and Jessica are out of luck. More specifically, Cody, because Paul has made clear that Jessica isn't really a target to him. Logan?
Yes. This is hard, okay?
Okay, anyway. Yeah, seeing that Cody is really in a bad spot now, what's a certain scenario where he could be saved?
I mean, like...
Well, I guess the first one that comes to my mind is Ramses winning veto, pulling himself down, which then means Josh and Alex are the final nominees.
But he wouldn't. Well, he might. Oh gosh. Yeah, you're right. That's like the only thing.
Well, the deal is, Paul, because of that, is really encouraging Ramses to throw the veto. If you look at some live feed clips on Twitter, or even go flashback and look at some of this stuff, after nominations, you can see that Paul actually really aggressively is trying to pressure Ramses into not using the veto.
I mean, Paul would want Ramses to use the veto if he's still going to go with a Cody backdoor.
Yes, I know, but if Ramses comes down, there is no replacement. So Ramses winning veto means that he would likely have to use it on himself. You don't want to be Marcellus 2.0. You got to use it on yourself. And so then we see Josh and Alex as final nominees, and that doesn't end up well for Paul. Kind of a wasted HOH, even if he was protected.
Not even like a wasted, just a flat out bad. Like,
I mean, seeing Josh going would just be no credit to you. It's like taking out Devin. That's not really big points for you. It's not a big move. Taking out Alex, maybe a little bit of a bigger move, but at the end of the day, it's not very helpful to you. And so that's why the Ramses winning the veto scenario is really bad for Paul.
yeah.
It's really bad for the house as a whole, especially Paul's side that it's gunning for Cody now. And when I say that, I'm referring to more Matt, Raven, Elena,
Mark.
Yeah. With that whole side.
Well, I mean, you can't exactly say Mark is gunning for Cody. Even though we're not exactly sure he's gonna trust him going on, they were friends in the house.
I think Mark's votes spoke volumes, though, this week about where he stands with Cody.
Well, he said actually originally he said he was gonna vote with Cody and try to get out Christmas, but then he decided otherwise.
Yes, and I think that shows that his loyalty to Cody is really
lacking.
Yeah. So moving on from that, if you had to make a prediction now, how do you see veto going? Then how do you see votes going?
Veto goes to Alex. She takes herself. We made this prediction in the last episode. I would say.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, veto. Yeah, and this is what I said. I said veto goes to Alex. She takes herself down. Paul puts up Cody, and Cody goes.
I mean.
Yeah, I could see that happening easily. Honestly, I mean, the only other scenario, if we were to see Ramses actually win the veto, which seems unlikely, and he pulls himself down, obviously, how do you think Paul, his side of the house, would react?
There would be some not angry, I would say, because they would understand if Ramses took himself off, but at the same time, well, I mean, they would obviously try to be pressuring him into using it on Alex or Josh. But if Ramses, well, I mean, the smart thing to do is just always take yourself off.
Well, let me ask you this: if Ramses was to pull himself off, who do you think Paul and his alliance would actually go after, Alex or Josh?
Well, if Paul's smart, probably Alex. Alex is.
I would have to agree. I mean, Josh has set himself up in a weird way here. He had a giant target on his back week 1, but it quickly faded.
Yeah.
He was in a really powerful position in last week's vote, but I think basically all that power has faded now that the lines are kind of drawn. He's really just there as a pawn, especially on the block. And I think Alex is more of the contingency plan that Paul was putting up in case Ramses was to win the veto.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it really just comes down to Alex is much better competition player. Because you saw in the first thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we obviously saw Alex who play comps a lot better. She also has a better position in the house, which should take us actually to the second part of the show I wanted to get into. Now that we've kind of gotten updated on live feeds, all of that, we can talk player analysis, where people stand so far, who's looking really good after.
Winner predictions.
Do you want to give a winner prediction right now? Based on what we've seen
Here's
these
the
first
thing.
2 or 3 weeks.
I don't want to like commit to this one person because I might be completely wrong, and then people just give me tons of hate.
If you say Kevin, I swear to God.
No. I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I was like, well, I'm gonna want to say Kevin, but I can't actually because.
Who's gonna say Kevin's actually gonna win?
Okay.
Kevin's playing an amazing. Is playing an amazing social game. I'm not gonna argue it. But when you go in calling an HOH HOV and asking if you can give it to another player, you don't know what's going on.
Shoot, Eli, that
Okay, I'm gonna pull it back to myself. Moving on a little.
Oh, Eli, what?
Okay, guys. Okay.
We obviously have.
Can't see.
Okay.
We obviously have basic winner predictions. Who are you gonna say at the end of the day, right now?
Right now, I'm gonna go for a long shot and say, I'm gonna say Paul and Alex make it to final 2, but it's gonna be a bitter jury, and Alex wins.
Trust me, buddy. At the end of the day, if there's a bitter jury, then Paul's gonna win. Alex has already displayed that she's gonna be so cutthroat. I don't expect any weakness or trying to appeal to a jury that's voting off of character at all. Alex has already showed with her comment to the first endurance comp to Cody that she's not gonna really back down in any way. Kind of Janelle vibes of sorts.
Yeah.
Or Brittany in a way, just like sassy diva almost.
Okay, wait, I gotta go get a chair.
Okay, from there, I'm gonna take it while we wait. Basically, if we look at it now, if I had to give a prediction for Final 3, what I would go with would be definitely Alex. I feel like she's for sure. Alex has put herself in a good spot. Okay, Alex has definitely positioned herself well. I would say Paul's going to make it because all this production twists, you just know that he's going to end up getting there in the end. Hey, Logan, I would appreciate if you mute your mic when I'm talking so we don't have all this feedback.
Okay, got it.
Well, okay. Obviously, Alex going to do well. I would also say Paul, like I said, just because production has helped him out a lot. They probably will continue to. But with the time that production has bought him, he has made some solid alliances. Kevin, clearly more of a number at this point, but does have some social influence. We also saw with this vote that he does have power voting-wise as a swing vote. So it's not super shocking if the Kevin Paul alliance could help carry Paul to maybe final 5. Then we could see Paul take off on his own, make some big moves. So looking at Alex and Paul, if I had to pick a third person right now, I would 100% go Christmas. She is very clearly in the game to win. Even with the broken foot, it will heal before the summer is over, and I expect her for sure, even with that broken foot, to give 100% at comps. And even if she can't, her strategy has proven to be on point. Even if her social game is a little weak, some would argue, her strategical game has really looked good. Even when she hasn't been on the ends, she's still had the connection she needs to get votes. She also had a genius move with that eviction speech to make clear that she was going after Cody. Not that it swung votes. I'm not making that claim, but it made her position in the House very clear. And for anyone who was unsure of working with her to get Cody out moving forward, that definitely solidified it. You can unmute if you'd like.
Strategical's gonna work.
Thanks for that.
Strategic.
Logan? Okay, so if I had to ask you right now, final three, who's it going to be?
Okay. Obviously, Alex Paul, because I said that.
Alex, Paul.
And I'm not ready to pick my third yet, but I do have some people that I'm considering. Christmas is one. Kevin's one. Like you can give me hate all you want, but I think Kevin has a decent chance, actually. I think he really does. Shut up, Eli.
Continue.
So those are definitely two. I mean, I wouldn't. If the battle back is real, I would be. And if Cameron wins, I would be surprised if he makes it to final.
Wait, Cameron's not making final three. He's not even winning the battle back, even if there is a battle back. Continue.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well, yeah, I know. I was saying even if he does win the battle back, it's pretty highly unlikely that he'll actually make it to final three.
I find it highly unlikely that he'll beat Cody and whoever's coming after Cody in a battle back anyway. Depends on the comp, but
yeah. So not Cameron. Those are probably my main two, honestly. Christmas, Kevin.
okay.
Logan, actually, another one. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Dominique could do pretty good.
Absolutely. She is in a good spot now. Could you mute for a second? I'm going to go off.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the original outsiders after week one when Cody established his HOH alliance, they have positioned themselves pretty great at this point. It's kind of controversial to say that Jason is in a good spot, but I feel like he is. He has a lot of ins with the people upstairs, even when he himself was originally more on the outside. He has a good relationship with Paul, with Christmas, with Dominique. He's looking all around good. We know he didn't come in as a super fan, probably actually a recruit, not even a fan of the show at all. But at the end of the day, he has positioned himself well strategically too, and I wouldn't be shocked to see Jason go far. Touching on Alex, even though she was originally more of an outsider, Cody did put her up as the replacement nom after Megan left. She has proven herself in a lot of ways. I'm generally surprised by how good her gameplay has been, and even when she has enemies in the house like Cody, she's maintained her cool. She's won a veto. She's gotten good social ends, and she also has now made her biggest enemy the biggest enemy. Cody, who once targeted Alex, is now being targeted by everyone, and she was part of the group that was able to turn those tables around. So I think we've seen impressive gameplay from her. Dominique, also, if I'm picking favorites here right now, I think she's got a great relationship with Mark, with Elena as well. she's kind of, a lot of people come to her for advice. She's very level-headed, and because she's gotten very personal with a lot of people, people trust her, people are willing to listen, and she definitely had a huge part, I would say, in swinging that last vote to keep Christmas the way it went. Her and Paul together kind of were able to pull that off, and I was impressed with that. And I think moving forward, Jason, Alex, Dominique, besides the three I said before, well, Alex was in the three, but in all cases, those group of five were are looking very impressive right now. I feel like Mark's gameplay is definitely lacking a little bit. He hasn't been floating. I wouldn't say that. He's definitely made clear some of his positions. He's not trying to play a floaters game, but it can come across a lot that way when we have a house that in the first 2 weeks with the 2-week HOH reign, we saw 5 nominations, tons and tons of fights, lots of drama. For Mark to not be involved in all that, even though he's not setting himself up for a floaters game, he can really appear like that, at least this early in. Thoughts?
Okay. I definitely agree with the Mark comments. He's not proved himself in any comps yet, which was it was somewhat surprising to me. I mean, you look at him, he's like the biggest guy in the, like, he's insane. But he's not, that might just be kind of like, okay, don't even tell me I'm comparing Mark and Dan, because I'm not. I'm just saying Dan, no, I'm not. I said I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying.
Did you just compare Mark and Dan?
Okay, continue. Okay, I'm gonna continue. What I was saying was, it definitely seems like he's doing the thing that Dan would do, not win a comp if he didn't have to.
Did you just compare Mark and Dan?
Yes, no. But
Shame.
I definitely think that he's doing the Dan style of only winning comps when he has to.
You know that Dan didn't invent the comp throw, right?
Well, I know, but like Dan's a very popular player for his fans.
Yeah. All right.
So
I got
he's
you.
a good person to.
Please mute your mic, Logan.
Okay, buddy. Before the show ends, actually, let me do something.
So unnecessary. All right, since Logan is off having fun with my little brother and his friend, I'm gonna quickly give thoughts on some of the players that seem to be not in a good spot. I went over Dominique, Jason, Alex, Paul, even Kevin looking really good right now. So if I can, I'm going to quickly say some people that don't look in a good spot. Obviously, you have the power couple or not powerful couple, Jody, Jessica, and Cody. Both in terrible spots. Cody, of course, worse than Jessica. Looks to be really screwed here. People who have somewhat stood by them also seem in a terrible, terrible spot. Being associated with Cody, being associated with Jessica at this time is just not where you want to be. and I think people are avoiding it as much as possible. Tying into that, I haven't seen as many people in the house who look in a terrible spot as I expected to. Josh made a strange recovery. I would expected a few days ago or maybe a week ago to have put him on this list of people who looked in a terrible spot, but it seems like Josh's recovery has been big and effective, and I wouldn't be shocked that he has kind of repositioned himself in the house.
No.
As Logan is being harassed by my mother and her friends, I guess I'm going to close things out. Logan. Okay, finishing up here, you can follow Logan on Instagram at logan.lim, Lem. Follow me on Instagram at Benjamin. Or, oh, oops, my tag got messed up. Oops. Anyway, we're going to fix this real quick.
This was not planned, I swear.
All right, anyway. You
Cut
can
it down.
by,
Cut it down.
Tag in our channel info. Thank you guys so much.